That's the coolest part of this thing by far. I put a custom firmware on it, but we'll talk about that later. This is the RG35XXSP. I think RG just stands for retro game. 35 is in relation to the 3.5-inch display. XX, no idea. The volume's a little loud. And SP, well, that's because this mimics an SP almost to a T. It is like slightly bigger. I guess I should grab an SP. Funny enough, I just happen to have a modded SP in the exact platinum color, but it's just slightly wider and even less slightly taller, I guess. I guess this would be taller. It is a little bit thicker, just barely bigger in all directions than an SP. Like they look so similar. It is kind of crazy, but it's still pretty obvious to look at this and be like, yeah, this is not an SP. But at a glance, if you see someone playing this, you're like, oh, that's an SP. It's not. It is the RG35XXSP, not by Nintendo, and it plays PSP games. Not well, but it does play PSP games. It plays it all right. But this is just another handheld emulator, one of the billion that Ambernick has made over the past few years. And it is just like all of these other ones that they keep making. Majority of the Ambernick devices that I've seen people play with, or buy, review online, they're just all the same exact one repackaged into a different form factor. And this one happens to be in an SP form factor, and people go nuts for it. I simply don't get that. I understand that people love the Game Boy Advance SP, but I don't. And so when I saw this, I'm like, wow, this is the 20th time they've done this exact handheld, but just in this form factor. I wonder how many people are going to buy it. Apparently everyone. I legitimately think that this Ambernick device, this family of systems, as people call it, has been around for 2 years now. So it still only plays like up to the 16-bit generation. Like GBA is fine in there. N64, PS1, PSP, they're kind of hit and miss on the games. Most of them run well, but it's like, okay, you can't play any of the stick games. You kind of can. Like the N64, if you use the stock firmware, you can press the power button once, and then the D-pad will turn into the stick. It seems like a funky workaround, but you know, most games I don't think use the D-pad and the stick, so it probably isn't that bad. But you're probably not buying this to play N64 games. You're hopefully buying this to play D-pad centric games. I don't know. The PSP is kind of the same thing, but I don't know if the power button thing works on that. I'm also not on the stock firmware anymore. And I would like to say, as much as I like the logo of mine, my own logo popping up, which is something that I had to mess with in the settings further. Actually, it wasn't even the settings. I took the file for the picture of, I think it's Nully is the OS that I'm using. And I just took that picture and swapped it with a picture of my logo. And it worked. It's beautiful. Honestly, if I could go back to the stock OS, I probably would. I'm too lazy. And honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to play this thing again because I just don't really care for it. It's just, I don't know. I don't need a device to play the D-pad centric games. It's not good, really, in my opinion, for N64, Dreamcast, those things. I would love to have a small device to play like Crazy Taxi on, but this does not run Crazy Taxi very well. And I'm honestly, I'm too lazy to even pull that up. This is a hand talking video. Sorry if you're new here. There's a million other reviews that you can go watch if you want to see it be played. But I'm just grabbing random things at this point. I don't like this thing. It's fine. If you like the SP form factor and you want something, a cheap-ish, under $100 handheld emulator that plays Super Nintendo and below, and a little bit of N64, a little bit of PSP, a little bit of PS1, and a little bit of Dreamcast, this is a great device for it. The battery lasts pretty long. This has been sitting here off for weeks now because I keep putting off recording this video. I've only charged it, I think, once or twice. If you do play games like PSP games, it does like chew through that battery. But the standby battery ain't so bad. I don't think there's any sensors in here. Yeah, maybe it just doesn't work with this OS, but I think you actually have to press the button if you want it to go to sleep. I don't think the closing lid works. I mean, the SP doesn't do that either. If you turn this on, it doesn't turn off. It's still on, but it's not a terrible little device. It's just not my thing. It's not my preferred form factor, but it's not bad. I'm just kind of like in a ranty mood right now, so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to poop on your favorite new device, but if you're watching a review after you've already bought something and been playing it and love it, what are you doing? That's on you, man. But this is literally an old device repackaged into a different form factor, and people are going crazy for it like it's the most amazing thing in the world. I don't get it. But as far as functionality and what it offers, like it delivers on what it offers. And honestly, I recommend this device. If you're looking for the things that this is touting, you're going to love it probably, assuming you like the small, cramped SP form factor. But with my adult hands, it's too small for me. Some of you are fine with that. I am not. That is really the only reason I don't like the SP form factor. It's just too small. I'm sorry. People get really upset when I say I don't like the SP. I don't know, man. Call the ambulance if that really upsets you that much. But here I am ranting about a device. I was sent this. I didn't pay for it. And I'll say this now, just in case there are any companies watching. If you want to send me anything, here is my P.O. box. Honestly, with the second channel now, I'll just review it. Unless it's something like obscene or stupid, I'll probably unbox it at the very least and probably review it in a not very serious way. But if you want some exposure, second channel is what that's for, baby. Oh yeah, it also plays DS games. I forgot about that. And it does play it fairly well. But you're playing DS games on a screen that is just the size of one DS screen. So how good is that experience actually going to be? Probably not very good. But yeah, this is a terrible video. I'm so tired of staring at this thing, knowing I need to make a video about it and just keep putting it off. It's a solid device. I just don't think you should get that hyped up for it. I think this makes for a great gift. It's still like $70, $80. I don't remember. It's still kind of expensive. It's not like something you just like get your cousin kind of thing, but it's a solid little handheld. It's just a solid little handheld. So if you want to play any of these systems and the obviously harder to run systems that you see on this list, those are not going to be as amazing as you might hope, but they're here and you can play a good chunk of games. You're not playing God of War on here. You're not playing Crazy Taxi. I don't know what PS1 games don't work well. You're maybe playing Conker's Bad Fur Day, but if you're playing N64, your stick is going to be a D-pad, and you're going to have to do some workarounds for it. Oh, I didn't even think about the C-pad. You got A and B and then X and Y, and how in the world does a C-pad work? I don't know. Man, it's an okay little device. Oh, man. I think, personally, there are better form factors of this exact same machine out there. There's versions that come with 2 sticks. There's versions that come with 1 stick. There's versions that are vertical. There are versions that are horizontal. This one just happens to close. It does have the triggers and bumpers, though. And it does have a mini HDMI out. It's got USB-C, pretty standard stuff, volume rocker, reset button, power button, headphone jack, and 2 SD card slots. Because why not? Dude, can you tell that I don't care that much about this? Okay, I'm going to just end this video before people get too mad at me. I know this video is going to get disliked into oblivion, so please, if you like me, hit that like button. Okay, I'm done.